Hello everyone, this is Rebecca from Papeterie de Choix and welcome to Wallpaper Wednesday. Today's project is made with wrapping paper. As I explained in an earlier video, I have expanded wallpaper to include wrapping paper and packaging and gift bags and that sort of thing, not your normal crafting paper. So what I have done is I have used this roll of wrapping paper that I found in a thrift store to make some ephemera, and what I began to make, or what I wanted to make for the project, was a long pocket that you'd sew in the middle in your signature to have a pocket on either side. But as I got into it, I just made a few extra things. So the first thing that I made was a couple of little faux glassine bags that can be added to a journal. I just folded them over, glued the back, glued up the little flap here, took my little pinking shears and rounded the top a little bit, and I made two of them. I'll leave that for a minute. So here's the other one. They're the same size. So that would be cute in a Victorian or vintage style journal, or floral romantic. The paper is for like wedding gifts. Okay, this is what I had in mind with the project. Was a pocket here and a pocket here, and the way I did this one, I just doubled the paper over on itself so that it would be self-lined, and then I put down two pieces of the sticky back craft paper just as a writing space. This is actually the second one I made. The first one I made is this one, and I'll talk about these things here just in a second. This is the first one I made, and I lined it with scrapbook paper. It's kind of lightweight scrapbook paper, but it made this very thick. But when it dried with some wrinkling, and so I didn't like how it looked on the front afterwards, so I took some scrap paper and put a little seam from the paper on top of that on the back and the front. And then I took the same paper and made like a little pocket here. Now, that wasn't my intent, so if I were to do this project again, I would fold, put the seam either at the bottom or have the top come over so that that little bit of bump wasn't there putting stuff in. So I had a few pieces left over from doing all this, and so I just made little journaling cards, and so that's what's stuck in here, just from the double-sided paper with a little craft on the back. And then I made this into a tiny tag. I'll put that with the bags. Now these two were on the end of this one, and it was a little too long, so I cut it off, but I had already glued it together, so it's like a belly band, but it has an opening, so it's, you could put something in there. And this is the same thing, it's just a little narrower. So what I want to make for this project is another one like this, but without the lining. I actually liked how this one turned out better with being self-lined. So that's what I'm going to do, and then I can just make some bits and pieces with what's left over. And what I'm going to use all of this is going to fit in the shot, but my husband and I went to visit our son in Fayetteville the other day, a couple of weekends ago, and stopped in a few thrift stores along the way, and I found this. It's actually a poster, but it's basically the same weight as wrapping paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it down the middle here, and I think if you find the original files online, I think this was a book page, because it has this fold line in the middle. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, but at any rate, I'm going to fold it down the middle like this and glue the two sides together, and then we'll see what we can make out of it. So I am going to pause the camera while I glue this together, and then we'll come back and continue the project. Okay, so I've got it glued together, and I've figured out how I want to cut it up. So what I'm going to do is cut off this stretch at the top, cut off the one at the bottom, so I'm just left with the world, which is just under 15 inches. So what I'm going to do is go, once I get the bottom and the top cut off, I'm going to go 5 inches down one way, 5 inches from the bottom, and I'm going to make them 3 booklets at that width. So I do not have a cutter that is as wide as this, so I'm doing this with a knife and just making sure that I'm as close as possible. Okay, and that could be a little bitty one, or other types of ephemera. Okay, so alright, so now let's do this side. Okay. It better work, because I can't do that again. Okay. Now, let me just take a quick look again. Oh, that's right. Basically right smack on 15. Yay. Okay, so let's go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's my inches here? I'm double checking everything, because a few things that I've done lately has just been slightly off, just a little bit, so I just want to make sure that everything is where it needs to be, because once you cut, you can't put it back together. That's the lesson we learned when we was growing up with Humpty Dumpty. Alright, there's one. And let's do that one. And what this will do is give us 3. They'll be the same size, but we'll have 3 nonetheless. Alright. Now, okay, because this is directional, I'm going to glue 2 together, where on the other paper I folded it over because it was non-directional. So I'm going to be doing this slightly different than the one that I showed you in the prototype. So these 2 are the same. So let's put a little glue under India here and under Africa. Just a little bitty string of glue right through here, just enough to hold it together. And then we'll turn it around. No, we'll stick our finger in it first. My goodness. Turn it around and put it on the other side, and hope to goodness that I remember to either turn it back around or turn the other one upside down to put them together, one or the other. So yeah, my glue must be just a touch stopped up because it's being a little bit stubborn about coming out. Okay, so that my brain don't play tricks on me, I am going to okay. For a second I couldn't remember which one I wanted to put where. Now I'm going to be trimming these edges, I think, anyway. Let's flip it over and see how much we're off. That one actually is pretty good. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay. Now this is the one that I didn't trim. After I thought about it for a second, that's when I remembered that I needed to cut the two together so that one wouldn't be upside down. So we'll make ephemera out of the other one. Or something different completely. Okay. So, now let's get the scoreboard back out here with this little doohickey. Now, let me do it this way. I cut that little bit off and it was dead on 90, so we're going to move that over just so it's dead on 90. And if it doesn't match up completely, that'll be fine because we're trimming the ends anyway. Well, that didn't go as planned, did it? Yeah, it did. I'm just, my little fold is just not in the right place for whatever reason. Or it's the little groove is kind of popping back out. Alrighty. You know what? I can use my trimmer now. Yay. Alright. Now, we're just going to trim that really, really close. Just like so. And I just use a glue stick to glue the wrong sides together, but I'm just going to double check that everything's holding up like it should, because I can always stick my hand down in there and there we go. Oops, I popped through the bottom. Yeah, I might actually sew it around. Okay, let's see how wide we are. I hate this backwards thing. I do have another one, but it's brand new. I don't want to use it. Okay, just a touch over 6.5. That's quite wide. So I think I'm going to trim it down to to right there, and that will give me a better width, because I dare say there's going to be very few journals out there that are really wider than 6.5, and you don't want it sticking out. So and that still keeps the little world intact. And okay. Okay. Good deal. Now something I'm going to do is I'm just going to check one more time. It looks like everything's holding up good on this side. There's just that one place where it popped through, but now it's sealed itself back because I hit it with the iron. Well, yay. But, okay. So, let me put something like that in here. That would work. Actually, I like this one much better. Or at least I think I do. Now the people on this side's got all their heads chopped off, so do they, but I don't know. I think I do like this one better. I'm going to do this side. Okay. So I'm going to it's 12.5. I'm going to leave that because it's folded on that end. We're going to cut this at 12.5, and then I'll end up making a little slit in it for the middle, so that oh, Rebecca, I didn't hold that down tight, did I? Okay. Alright, let's try that again. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. It's a tad crooked, but I can trim that if need be. Alrighty. Now, let's fold it. Get our crease. And I'm just going to do this part with the scissors. And I'm just going to go right up like that. And then this one can go over here, and this one can go over here. So, yeah, my glue is partially, it's got a little dry spot or something in it. It's not coming out. Or maybe I'm moving my hand too fast. Maybe that's part of it. It almost always comes down to user error, don't it? Okay, that looks a little better. Alrighty. Put that like so. There we go. I'm just going to pat that for a second. Wipe up the glue that squished out. Now I'm not inking this one. I did put just a little bit of ink on the other, but it's not really the right paper for ink. so there's no real point in doing it. Alright, so now we've got this one. Yeah, when I'm in thrift stores, I see some of this old-fashioned wallpaper, and I usually pick it up because I love the design. You know, if it's got some vintage Victorian type look to it, because I find it inspiring, even if I don't always do something with it. But only in the last, I don't know, couple of weeks maybe, I suppose, have I racked my brain to figure out something to do with the wrapping paper, and kind of where I got to with it was, you know, you can use gift bags to make different things, and I thought, well, if you can use a gift bag to make something, then you can use wrapping paper to make something. It's just figuring out what to do with it. So I have decided to do just a little bit of inking after all, just enough to get rid of some of the white edges, and I just have to give myself a little bit of ink. I did use some earlier today, but I'll leave it out in the open because it's my homemade coffee ink, so it just dries up. But I only put like literally like a drop, maybe two, in this little holder here. So I'm actually doing this as slightly prematurely. I am going to come back in and round the corners, I think. But you know what, since I've glued it top and bottom, that probably would not be a good idea. So scratch that, I'm not doing that after all. But yeah, it's just got a little bit of white edge, and I don't want the white edge, so I'm just going to run just a little bit of ink around this edge, and then I'm going to hit it with the iron to dry it, because the one thing about this paper is it does soak it in, and paper, you know, when it's wet it becomes fragile. So I'm just going to put a little bit on this as well. I can lift it up and it'll be fine. As one lady that I watch on YouTube, she says if you mess up, there's almost always a way to fix it. So sometimes you just have to figure those things out. Okay, so okay, that just looks a ton better. Okay. What I have decided to do with this one that I have upside down is, well, the thought that I had and now what I want to do with it, don't know that that's what I want to do with it. Okay, I know what I'm going to do with it. So, when I first started this, I forgot that I needed 2 of those strips for it to work. So I can't fold this, it might be too little anyway, but then one side would be upside down, and that's just not acceptable. So what I'm going to do is find my middle, which was 6 3/4, but actually I need it right on that 90, although that might be a tad off, but that's where it needs to be, because that's the center of the world. Regardless of whether it's the middle of the paper, it's the middle of the world, and that's what we're going with. So it's just a little bit hesitant about folding right in that groove for some reason. Okay. Okay, I'm going to trim these edges just slightly so that they're even. Now, in this, it doesn't matter what the width is, because what I've decided to do is fold these in and make a little pocket from the side, and then this can tuck into the first one we made. But the first thing I want to do is just do a little bit of inking, just enough to cover up those little bit of white edges. It won't take much, and I just realized I think on the other one I forgot to do the centerpiece. Yes, I did. Okay. I think I've done that side already. I haven't done this side. Okay. Alright, so that part's done. Now, I am going to find my score tool again. I think this is it's 6 5/8 wide to the middle. So if I do it at 3, that's going to give it a big pocket. So I think 2 1/2. Let's score it at 2 1/2 there. And I'm going to flip it around and do it at 2 1/2 here. And then fold that over like so. And I guess I could just press it slightly. And I'm going to turn this one over. I don't know why on some of them they don't really want to fold on that little groove that I made. Okay, let's just put a little bit of ink here, a little bit of ink here, here, and there. Then we're going to take our glue, and more glue. And put it here. Fold that down that way. And I probably shouldn't be doing this on my scoreboard. I fill the slots full of glue, if I'm not mistaken. Not if I'm not mistaken, if I don't watch what I'm doing. Okay. I believe That will give us a couple of little pockets. Yeah, that's just, I need to clean it. I've painted, or inked rather, and it's sprayed ink out over it. Okay. Alright, I'm going to press this. Okay. So now we got a little tuck in here, a tuck pocket, and in there we've got this that should fit in here. Maybe we lay it on its side because it can fit that way. And then we still have this. So I think what I'm going to do with this is, I think I'm going to cut it into maybe 3 equalish parts. So let me move this out of the way. And so it's, how long again? 13 3/4. Well, I think what we're going to do is, instead of just measuring, I'm just going to find a good place to divide it. So right there at that 5-inch mark looks good. So there's that one. That one's also on the 5, but I want to cut it right down the middle of that dot. Haha! Okay, so what I'm going to do, I've got, let me grab another piece of this craft paper. I've got a few offcuts over here in my stash. Okay, let's see. It would be nice if I had enough of these to cover, but I don't think I'm going to. That one would. I kind of like that side better. Let me look for another piece. Yes. At least I think it's yes. No, that's not on sticky paper. So I guess we're back to this. So this one I'm going to be cutting it down just to fit the paper. I'm not going to I'm not going to cut a whole sheet just for this little bit. So if I can get it to turn loose. Oh, there we go. Well, let's just do it this way. Maybe turn it this way so I can see it a little better. And alright. And then I'll just trim that to the size. And that will be fine. And I'll do the same thing with this one. Actually, that up. I don't like how that looks anyway. Alright. And this, I'm going to go right up that red line. Cover that. Although I probably could have come up a little bit more, but that'll be alright. Now let's see. Well, we got his head chopped off. We got his head chopped off, and I don't really. Okay, I guess we'll do this one. Well, can't make up my mind. I guess it's going to be this one. And it'll cover the whole thing. Turn this way so I can see. Alright. Let's see how good I am. I should have maybe cut it off. There, it's got something Botanical Gardens, San Marino, California. Well, I'll cut that off with the trimmer when I'm done with this part. And I probably could cut this with the trimmer too, but I don't want it gumming up the blade since there's sticky stuff on it. But what this does is give us a few pieces of journaling card that we can put in the project. So you could also do this project with scrapbook paper or any paper that as long as it's not too thick. It works better if the paper is somewhat on the thinner side. Like with this, I doubled it up. I'll trim that. And I'll trim that one too. Do this part. Because when you double it up, or if you use like a lightweight cardstock, it gains weight with that. But you could do this with any paper if you had large book pages and you wanted to do have that look. But what I like with the scrapbook paper, or not scrapbook paper, with the wrapping paper, is that it has the scenes built in, so to speak. I don't know exactly how else to put it, but it to me, I just find them inspiring to make something from, because that's the theme or the look that you want. So it's not always about doing anything more to them than what's on the paper itself. Now I think I will probably round those corners just a little bit. I really do like this stick on craft paper. I do wish it was slightly darker. Did we do that one already? I guess. Is there just the 3 of them? I've already done them. Yay! Okay, I'm going to press them with the iron and get the corner rounder. Okay, I want to do this on a small one. Since there's not really any corner rounding. Oh, I was going to cut that one. That's what I was going to do. I didn't trim that after all. I thought I did. Or no, I did. It's just off it's just off. So I am going to trim it down just a little bit more. Yeah, that's better. And alright. Well, it's a little warped, but aren't we all from time to time? I mean, he's missing the whole bottom of his face, so we know he's in bad shape. Okay. Well, this has turned out to be a cute project. I've got some maps that I picked up, I guess at a thrift store, or no, I picked up some National Geographics and they were in those. Now, let's just run a little ink along the edges. That would, you know, the real maps, there's 4 of them, I think. One's of Canada, one's of, I think, the U.S., and then there's one of, like, Texas or Arizona or someplace out there in the southwest, and then I think there's one of California. And I forget, I think the other one's like a world map, maybe. Anyway, they're quite large, they're like 3 by 4 or something. I'm going to come through and put just a little bit on this back, just enough to give it a little bit of definition, especially if I run out of lines. Just looks a little bit better if it's got just a little bit of definition. Yeah. Okay. Now, let's move some of this stuff out of the way so we can see what's what, and then put our little project together. So we've got a pocket that will go in the signature of a journal, and then we've got this little tuck pocket thing that can go right in here like that, and then we've got these little yes, I could put that up like that, it wouldn't stick up too much. Then we've got these little journaling cards that we can put right in here with it. So, and of course you can add to and make it, you just don't want to make it too bulky because it's going to go in the journal somewhere, whether it's the very center of your journal or whether it's just part of your signature makeup, or if you do several and then put one in each signature that you have, that's also a possibility. But anyway, that is today's project, and thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon.